What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Georgia Boy Outdoors. We'll skip through the subscribe, like, blah, blah, blah. We're diving right off into this today. I've wanted to do this video for a long time. I always get sidetracked, end up not doing it. We're talking big rooster redbreast. You know, it's a cold day in January down here in South Georgia. I said, you know what? Let's stop doing what we're doing for a minute, jot down some notes, and let's dive off into this topic. And the aim for this video is to help you consistently catch bigger redbreast regardless of where you live. You know, a giant redbreast down here on the Satilla River where I'm from might be 11¼ inches long. And for somebody up in North Carolina or Alabama in the particular creek or river, you know, it could be 9 inches long. But we're talking big mature male redbreast, how to catch more of them. So I'm looking at my notes now. We're just going to dive off. Let me go ahead and say this though. This is for any of the negative people that are watching. These are my opinions. I've tried to base them on factual evidence that I've encountered on the water. However, if you think I'm wrong and you're right, I believe you. You don't have to be mean in the comments. I believe you. So that's my disclaimer. I'm sure somebody may be, but maybe not. So here we go. Quantity and quality are not the same thing when you're fishing. You know, a lot of people, I hear them say, yeah, we caught 50, but we didn't catch no real big ones, but we had 50 pretty good size. Well, you're probably throwing a lure that's going to catch you 50. And that's a fun way of fishing too. You know, sometimes when I take my kids, we just want to catch as many as we can, and that's fine. But sometimes when I go by myself, I just want to catch one fish and I want him to be the right one. And I almost get aggravated if I catch anything smaller. So it's a mentality. If you truly want to target big redbreast, it's like hunting a big deer. You've got to shift gears, patterns, techniques, everything to make that happen. So, let's see. Next thing, and there ain't gonna be a lot of fancy editing, guys. I'm probably gonna stumble over a lot. Okay, big roosters eat on top. I'm telling you, day in and day out, you will catch more big redbreast if you're fishing on top water. I don't know what makes them make that shift when they mature, but I can tell you this, of all my friends who are really good redbreast anglers and tournaments that I fish in where you consistently have the same people in the top 3 over and over again, 9 times out of 10, that person is pitching a bug. So I like bugs, you know, about any kind of work. I like white chartreuse. This is one I tie. It's called the swamp spider. But you can't go wrong if you're pitching a bug. Find one you like and fish it. Reds work good, oranges. You really can't. I don't think you can go too wrong with color. How to fish it. You know, I grew up, we fished them by what we call bugging down here in South Georgia, where we take a 10-foot brim buster or cane pole, 10-foot of line, and you know, it's like redneck fly fishing. You pitch it, wiggle it, pitch it, wiggle it. And that works really good. I don't know how many fish I've caught doing that. I know guys that when they got enough room in rivers, they'll fish them on fly rods. But here lately, that's what I want to talk about. Some guys on the Ogeechee River have turned me on to this. If you take your bug, and I got a little piece of Cinco worm that I broke off. If you take and put a tiny piece, and I like to use something natural against this white so it looks like legs. But if you put that on there, now all of a sudden you can take a light or ultralight action setup. You can pitch that bug 20 feet and that redbreast can't see you. You know, one thing that I didn't really realize for years and years, big redbreast, they're smart. Big roosters, they've been around the block. They're like a 10-pound bass. They know what's going on. And if you can see them under the water looking at that bug, they can see you. So it's a two-way street. So big roosters eat on top. Next thing, let's see here. We'll go with this one. All right, hunt, not fish. Now that's kind of some confusing wording there, but when you're targeting big rooster redbreast, you have to see yourself as a hunter, not a fisherman. You're not out there just to see what happens. No, you show up. If I go tomorrow and tell myself I want to catch 11-inch redbreast in Satilla River, I'm going with the mentality of I'm going to do this here at this time. I'm throwing this lure and I'm looking for this kind of fish. I'm not just pulling up to the boat ramp. Well, come on, Bobby, let's throw our beetle spin. No, I'm going with a particular mission in mind and I'm going to try to accomplish it. So, you know, kind of like public land hunters. If you think about some of those guys who consistently kill big deer, and I don't care what state that is, or even deer, any kind of animal, the ones that are consistently successful, oh, they're true hunters. They're not just out there winging it. And same goes with redbreast fishermen. The guys who are consistently catching them, and I mean the big ones, they know what they're doing, and they're hunting those fish. They're not just hoping it happens. They're doing something to make it happen. So let's see. Bigger baits equal bigger bites. Plain and simple. You know, I use this because, I mean, growing up, man, me and my buddies, shout out to all of y'all that are watching. We waded the sandbars with beetle spins in our pockets, and I don't know how many redbreasts we caught. They were good times. It was fun. But, you know, here recently I've learned that when you look how that thing just disappears behind it. I mean, not even in the same league. But when you upgrade to a bigger spinnerbait, and this one's got a bigger hook, you know, when you upgrade, you're going to catch bigger fish. Now, you're going to miss some of them smaller fish. It gets frustrating. You know, they'll thump it, and you're like, man. But you're going to catch, you know, like say where this, you might catch 50 fish. This, you catch 18. But your 10 biggest, I mean, it ain't even no comparison between that smaller beetle spin. You know, bigger baits, when that could be bugs, you know, like when my bugs that I like really long legs that spread out. Because a lot of times I think when a redbreast kills a bug, he don't think it's like in this case, a spider or whatever. He thinks it's a dragonfly. And a dragonfly, they really spread out. That's a meaty bug. So, you know, a bigger bait is gonna catch bigger fish. I could argue till I'm blue in the face on that. And I mean, I think the same would hold true for us at the buffet. You know, some of my 400-pound buddies, they ain't going in the buffet looking for the smallest piece of chicken. No, they want something that's going to fill them up. And I think big redbreasts are that same way. So let's see. Can't even read my own writing. I should have been a doctor. Okay. And it also comes down to time. You know, when we're talking being successful at redbreast fishing, you got time spent fishing and also time management. How are you using your time on the water? You know, the guys that I know, once again, that consistently catch big redbreasts, they spend a lot of time on the water. Just like guys that kill big deer, they usually hunt a lot. You know, you're not going to go out there for 2 hours once a week and be the world's best big rooster fisherman. It just ain't going to happen. But also, you know, time management kind of plays into it a lot too. When you're on the river, what are you doing? Are you fishing at the boat ramp? You know, are you starting at the boat ramp and really, you know, wasting a lot of time? Or are you using your time to go off and really hunt those fish, to get down river where there ain't been nobody else at and target a fish that hasn't been pressured as much? So time management, time spent on the water. Okay, being honest about what's a big fish for your body of water. You know, I think that's important. Even right here in South Georgia, the rivers I fish, the Stilla River, like I may have said earlier, but, you know, 11-inch plus fish is what you would consider a real mature rooster. You know, maybe even a 10.5 is a really good fish. But on some of the creeks I fish down here, an 8-inch rooster would be a big fish. So you got to be honest about, and a ruler helps that, keeping it in the boat, keeping up with what you're catching. Then you can consistently see yourself catching more bigger fish, knowing that you're doing the right things to be successful. Paying attention. That is huge. And this is something I've really just picked up on in the past few years, thanks largely in part to my buddy Will. I believe he might be the best redbreast fisherman alive. I'm not even going to say his last name because he wouldn't want the notoriety. But, you know, paying attention, you know, where are you consistently catching those big fish? Because they will be there again and again and again. And I'll say this too, this is sort of, I'm going to interject. Catch and release is huge with these big redbreasts. When you catch, you know, the ones that keep for the frying pan, I know we grew up, and y'all probably grew up like I did. You know, Grandpa said, throw the small ones back, but keep the big ones. Well, with giant redbreast fishing, you got to throw them big ones back. That's my opinion. There's nothing wrong with eating one if that's what you want to do. The good Lord did put them there for food, so don't beat me up in the comments. But to help there be more of them, it's really good when you could turn those bigger fish loose to be caught again. So let's see here. Oh yeah. Now, if you miss a big red breast, this comes back to the whole paying attention. You miss a big fish, or you feel like a big fish comes off, make a mental note of that, because these fish are very territorial. They're going to be there over and over and over. So pay attention. When you miss one, you could either come back in an hour, come back the next trip, but you'll more than likely get another crack at him. So I think what it really boils down to is just that mentality. You know, what am I fishing for? And hey, for all the guys out there that just want to go fishing, there is not a thing in the world wrong with that. You're going to catch some big, I know somebody's probably saying that too. Well, I caught 1,000,000 big red breasts on a tiny beetle spin, and somebody may tomorrow catch the world record on one. But we're talking consistently catching bigger fish, consistently catching those giant, big blood red roosters that we all love. You know, I feel like it takes a different mentality and mindset to do it. Appreciate y'all watching and listening. Maybe I can do some more videos on this later on this spring and summer. I'm definitely ready for the big roosters to fire up again. If you hadn't already, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, click on that notifications icon. We'll see y'all next time out on the water.